Good afternoon, everyone. It's Wednesday, the 19th. This is the third in a brief series about coherent breathing. In the last two videos I posted, I've discussed the Valsalva wave and the importance of generating that wave because it sends a wave of blood to the brain, oxygenated blood to the brain with every cycle of respiration. Today, I'll give you a brief synopsis of the work colleagues and I did in the 2010 to 2013 timeframe, condensing our work into just a couple of charts. We called this work the search for the wave in the brain. And the reason for that name was because using a standard clinical EEG instrument, the wave, a wave in the brain as a consequence of breathing was not detectable. And this didn't make any sense given that it was detectable everywhere else on the body, on the surface of the skin, capillary circulation, available veins, available arteries. There had to be a wave in the EEG as a consequence of the Valsalva wave washing through the brain with every breath. This being due to the fact that the brain would be experiencing a large wave of oxygenated blood. So we organized a couple of experiments, one at the University of Louisville School of Medicine and the other one in my office. The U of L experiment was to take the filtering out of a clinical EEG machine. You can see here a 128 channel EEG instrument and record the EEG while the client is breathing coherently, in this case using coherence clock on the computer monitor before her. And she's also instrumented at the earlobe with Valsalva Wave Pro, where we correlate the results of that in the next chart that I'll share with you. To the right on this screen is me wearing HEG, that's a hemoencephalography instrument, also where we have eliminated the low frequency filtering such that we can see phenomena in the 0.085 hertz range, which is where that is the coherent breathing frequency, 5 breaths per minute nominally. This is the result of the EEG. We have the EEG recording in the background, and I've overlaid the Valsalva wave recording at the earlobe on top of the EEG graph. We see two things going on here. We see very large waves rising and falling in the EEG during coherent breathing. You can see that in the middle of this chart, there is a breath hold period. And during that breath hold, we see this large wave activity almost completely flatline. Toward 2/3 into the chart, 3/4 into the time, we see coherent breathing begin again, and the large waves begin building again. Now, these waves are nominally 100 microvolts in amplitude. That's roughly 10 times the amplitude of that we see with an EEG instrument with normal filtering applied. The functional bands delta, theta, alpha, and beta being in the range of 10 microvolts or less, which is the reason that low frequency filtering was implemented in EEG instrumentation as far back as Elmer and Alice Green in the 1960s, 1970s. And then we see the correlating Valsalva wave rising and falling at the earlobe, also during coherent breathing and during a breath hold. Thirdly, and finally for today, this is the recording of the HEG instrument at my forehead, looking through the bone of my skull into the blood activity in my brain during this period. You can see here that there are roughly 5 breaths. The top panel is the recording of Valsalva Wave Pro with the plethysmograph at my earlobe, and the bottom graph is the recording of the HEG instrument, both of these operating simultaneously and recording simultaneously. And you can see here that the rise and fall of the Valsalva wave at the earlobe and that in the brain correlate very highly in both time and amplitude. Now you can find out more about this at coherentbreathing.com. Under articles, go to coherence.com compendium and scroll down and you'll find the complete articles where I describe this experiment titled The Search for the Wave in the Brain. Thank you very much for your attention.